As some of you know, Danny and I have been on vacation, and we got back in town, and within 24 hours of us getting in town, I started getting all of these surveys via email. I got 5 of them in 24 hours. One was from the American Patriot Getaways, which is who we rented our cabin from, wanting to know how they did. Another one was from Kroger, wanting to know how they did. Another one was from a delivery service that brought us the food, wanting to know how they did. One was from Southwest, wanting to know how they did. And then the last one was from Dollywood, which was the theme park we went to, wanting to know how they did. And at first I was getting a little annoyed by it. And then I thought, well, it's pretty cool that I live in a country that what I write here, someone's going to read, and that I live in a place that my opinion matters, or at least they sent me something telling me my opinion mattered. Because when I read that up against our gospel today, we've got all of these disciples and all of these people that are living in a place where, to tell you the truth, the powers that be really don't give a fig about them. They just don't care. They are living in a place that is being ruled by another country that's in another continent. They have armed guards everywhere they go that can't wait for them to make a mistake. They then have a church that is ruled by someone that is not there either, and the church that has all kinds of rules that even tells them how many steps they can take on the Sabbath, and tells them what they can eat on the Sabbath and what they can't eat on the Sabbath, and just all of these rules everywhere we go. And I don't know if you've ever experienced being in a place where someone is waiting for you to mess up, but it's not a good place to be. I know I had a 3rd grade teacher, and I honestly think she went home at night and she tried to think of things to see who was going to make that infraction the next day. And she had a ruler. And I honestly cannot think of a time that she ever hit anybody on the knuckles with it, but I know it was enough to scare us. So the people in today's gospel are having this whole fear imposed on them that everything they say and do or don't say and don't do will put them in jail and will put them to death. And then Jesus comes around. And he says, you know, I know how this generation is, how these adults are. These adults are saying, what I want you to do is to go out and be joyful so we can dance, and you go out and be joyful so they can dance, and they don't dance. And then they're saying, I want you to go out and mourn and be solemn so we can mourn, and they go out and do that, and then they don't do that either. Sounds like a bunch of little kids to me. And that's what Jesus' point is this generation, these adults are acting like a bunch of little kids. And Jesus says, I'm sorry about that. And Jesus says, I know with all of this causes a lot of heaviness, a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort. And I want to tell you what I'm going to do about it. So I'm going to ask my Vanna White Danny to please come up here today.
It's easier than that Romans passage.
No. All right. So he talks about taking away your burdens. So what are some of the burdens? This is audience participation. What are some of the burdens you have that you're carrying? Illness. All right. Somehow I thought somebody might say that. Let's see if I can find it. Health. All right. So hold that so the health is facing that way. There you go. What's another one? Finances. I have that too. Yeah, but I thought I had finances. I did have finances. All right. What? Family.
Hurricanes.
Hurricanes, all right. Who else? You've been on 45 lately, haven't you? All right. Guilt. Nope, you're going to have to keep holding them.
Safety.
That's the purpose. All right.
Safety.
Thank you. You read well, Peggy. Resources. Anybody have parents they have to worry about? Anybody have work they have to worry about? Yeah, you're going to have to bring that bottom arm down. There you go.
Do it, Danny.
There's work. Spouse.
Remember when, Danny?
Yep.
That's right.
Any friends that you have in your mind? All right. I'm out of things. Sorry, but that was a good one. And kids. All right. So, yeah, so that's it exactly. How much can you really hold? And for how long can you really hold it? And is there anybody here that, can you turn towards me just a little bit, Danny? Anybody here that's ever worried about family, traffic, hurricanes, friends, finances, spouses, kids, work, parents, resources, hunger, guilt, and health all at the same time?
Yes.
Yes. And anybody do it really well for a long time?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but you end up, you drop one or two, you end up in a fender bender, you end up in the hospital, you end never to a good thing. So what we are asked to do, all right, and Larry, if you'll help him with this, if you'll hand them to me one by one. What Jesus is asking us to do, give them to me, is to lay them at the cross. Because it's not like we can do anything about this anyway. And it's not like all our worrying's going to make a bit of difference. But if we put them here, they fall over too because they're too heavy to keep stacking. And see, this was so much that it even, how does it feel, Danny, to not have them anymore? But see, it even took help to put them at the feet of the cross. And that's why church is so important. Because even when we have them, and even if we're great juggling, which we have some amazing jugglers in this congregation, let me tell you, what they keep up in the air is amazing. But when they start falling, that's what this congregation is for. It's to help you. Maybe not help you with all of them, but maybe they can help you with some of them. Maybe we can share it around, but that's why a congregation is so important. Bring me all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Now, I want to introduce you to someone. Will you give me the first slide? That's not the first one. That's not the first one. That's the first one. That's Hope. Hope is 3 and she will be 4 the end of this month. Hope is that infant that this passage talks about. I love the way that it says, first of all, it says, all things have been revealed to them, the infants. You hide things from the wise and the intelligent because the wise and the intelligent think they can hold all of that. The infants like this, give me a white dress and a pretty hat and I'm good. All right, so Hope, this last week, did all of these things. Go to the next one. She hung out on the back with one of her brothers and her dad, the back of on the porch. She went on a hike with another brother, and she needed help, so he took her on his shoulders. Go to the next. She went to Dollywood and played in a great big foam pit. Keep going. This is at the end of the day at Dollywood, and they had a big drone show with the telephone. Keep going. They played miniature golf, and they each had different colored balls. Keep going. She played, and she told me she was number 1 when she rode with her dad on the go-karts. This is where she stayed all week long, so you can see she had a lot of walking back and forth between cabins and with her family and friends. Then they took a 2.5-mile walk in, and they all got their picture taken, and there's a waterfall over to the side. But she's with all of her cousins, all 18 cousins. This is out to eat. She did that while she was there with some of her cousins and her own family. They drove 14 hours from Dallas up to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee in the back of this. She did that. This is on the tram going to Dollywood with her cousins and her family and everybody. She's the youngest of 9 kids. Here she is with her family and her 8 brothers and sisters and mom and dad. Here she is in the big family portrait. She's number 17. You can see her with the little green bows. And yes, there is one still younger than she is, and that's the whole shebang. And there they are again. And there they are again. And then she did this light dance with all of the cousins. Lots of energy going around. All right, and then she was in the Pew Talent Show, and she's singing Ooh La La from Britney Spears from the Troll movie. And then she went and she needed some rest. So what you can learn from Hope is that we can go back to that other one. We can go and we can go and we can go. But imagine each and every one of us climbing into God's lap like she climbed into her grandmother's lap. And just feeling loved. That's what this passage is talking about. Put all the stuff down, leave it with Jesus. Climb into bed and let those covers be his arms surrounding you. And just go to sleep at night. It's the thought and the love that Jesus is just keeping you safe all night long. And all God's people say, Amen.